It's that time of the month again. Singularity 6 have answered more user questions on Palia. Instead of tackling them one at a time, I wanted to look at how they change our understanding of the game, but it turns out that a majority of the questions that were answered are on topics that haven't previously been discussed. I say a majority because one of these is a little bit different, so here's the questions. The first is whether or not wildlife will visit your home, and they responded to this by saying it's an interesting idea and that they apparently hadn't thought of this before. The next question is whether or not there will be weapons for non-PvP content, since player combat isn't happening. The answer is mostly an explanation that Palia may be an MMO, but it's not an MMORPG. The distinction here is an important one, and because of it, combat isn't a priority in the game. Hunting will be available with a bow and arrow, but they have no news on anything beyond that. But hey, they acknowledge hunting again, so at least we know it's still in the works. Onto a new subject, will there be voiceover? The general goal that Singularity 6 has is not a full voiceover, but instead a voiced intro and outro line for each character that they'll say when you speak to them. The line will change based on your relationship with the character, so it should show some character personality. As someone who tends to read through text faster than the lines are said, this is fine with me. On top of this, they'll also record efforts for the characters which will reflect their mood during a particular line. More on NPCs. They'll also have birthdays as well as their own Palia-specific astrological signs. I just thought you'd like to know. Now, let's get into the MMO type questions. What are the party and neighborhood sizes? Party max size is still 4, neighborhood size is still being nailed down for launch. Will the neighborhoods have goals for people to accomplish together? Yes, there will be a few of these at launch, but expect these to start to really expand post-launch. What's the in-game currency? Currently gold. Lastly, will there be consequences for our actions? The NPCs will remember your past choices and act accordingly, but they aren't sure how far these actions will affect the main storyline. They're also debating whether or not group decisions will affect the overarching story instead of single person, which I also don't think would be a good idea, as now we just get into the idea of the tyranny of the majority or minority, which I deal with enough in my daily life. So I mentioned that a majority of the questions were on new topics, and that's true. All but one. They also decided to answer a question on monetization, which I'm not going to dive into here since I just released a video on this topic not that long ago. That said, they've also announced that they'll be releasing a Q&A specifically about monetization in the near future, and I'll likely give my expanded thoughts at that time. I do want to mention a few things before I go. Sorry I didn't post last week since I got an ear infection and was in pain the whole time. I'm also going to be expanding my lineup of games covered in the near future to discuss a few that have either already released, are in early access, or just interest me. All of these will still be in the community or life sim genre for now, so don't expect things to get too different. You might have already seen one of these games talked about in quite a few of the videos, and here's that video I did on monetization, also the playlist of other Palia videos I've done. Thanks for watching.